Hi guys, welcome to Primetime Mitch, and today I am joined very thankfully by the director and star of the new independent horror Foxhollow. Whether you've heard of it or not, you certainly are going to now, because I'm joined by Tom. Thank you for being here today. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate you letting me come on.
It's my pleasure. And with that being said, tell us about Foxhollow, because I've seen it and I'm very grateful to you for allowing me a chance to see it. Tell me why it's worth watching and what it's all about.
So it's indie, super low budget, found footage horror film shot in Wales, which is where I'm from. And it's about I'm playing myself, so I'm kind of like a struggling filmmaker who gets hired by a guy to make a nature documentary in the woods, and then pretty quickly realizes it's not a nature documentary that I'm going to shoot. Yeah, so it's my first feature, and it's kind of like Cryptid, found footage.
Are you a fan of found footage in general? Was this immediately the genre you wanted to go into?
I didn't make anything found footage for ages. It's weird because it's one of the kind of subgenres of horror that I love the most, I think, because when I was like just first getting into horror, so I suppose I was like maybe 14, 15, and I was renting stuff like from the video shop, because I'm old enough to remember like video shops. So I was renting.
They were good days.
Oh man, like just renting Evil Dead, like just being really scared of the cover of Evil Dead for ages. And like, you know, like your dad would go and look at all the blockbusters and then you'd like sneak up the horror aisle and look at all the covers. That's what did it for me. And like being really scared of horror and walking down the horror aisle and looking at all those covers and being really excited and starting to rent horror films on the weekends when I was off from school was like, obviously like what got me into it, made me really excited about it. It was like my special thing. It was like my little kind of safe place. It still is, really, you know what I mean, like pizza and horror films, in it. But then soon after that, I think maybe like 1 or 2 years after I got into horror, then Blair Witch came out, and I remember like thinking it was real and going on the website, you know, and like reading all the info, because they made that really good like website with all their info on, and there was like case things, and there was photographs of how they found the footage and the boxes that the tapes were in or whatever, and the film. So I think that kind of swept me up into it and really like affected me, and that obviously scared the shit out of me when I saw it as well. Yeah, since then I've always loved it. Like I've always watched a lot of found footage, been really into it, but for some reason I'd never shot anything like that myself, really. I'd always been trying to do larger budget things, or larger crews and like proper gear and all the rest of it. And then as I was like getting bigger with a larger crew, and I was hiring a DP to shoot it, and I was like, you know, actors and makeup and everything. And then COVID happened. I just had to shoot everything myself, because like my job is to like make music videos for bands. That's like what I do.
Oh, that's a great job.
Between films. So I ended up having to shoot all that stuff myself, and then I started shooting my films myself as well, and that kind of led me on to acting and stuff and shooting it myself, I guess.
I suppose with like movies like the Blair Witch Project, I mean, hold my hands up, I'm not a fan of the Blair Witch Project. I love the marketing. I thought the marketing was incredible. Like you said, the website, I mean, it actually really scared you before you actually had even seen a thing. I was just never a fan of the execution. But what I will say is certainly a groundbreaker. Did movies like that actually give you confidence that you could make something with not as much budget and with not as many resources?
I think at the time I didn't really realise. I'll tell you when it hit me. Like at the time when I saw it, I wasn't thinking in that way, because I wasn't really making stuff then. I think maybe I'd done some like animation stuff when I was like 12, 13 with like I had like a digital 8 camera, and it had a button for pictures, so I'd like stop motion animate my toys, my wrestling toys.
I used to do that. I used to do that with my wrestling figures. I would have them do moves, and then I'd make the sound effects myself. And yeah,
man. So I used to do that, and I did kind of media in college, but I don't think I was thinking in that way at the time. I think what did that for me was reading If Chins Could Kill in like my early 20s, the Bruce Campbell book, with the making of Evil Dead in. So when you read that, especially the early chapters on how they raised the money, how they were making films since they were kids, and then how they actually went and shot Evil Dead 1, I was like, okay, they were a group of friends. They got together, they got everything they needed, they went and made something, and it was amazing. Like, if they can do that, I can do it, kind of thing. I think I only translated that way of thinking into found footage maybe the last like couple of years, when I think because I've been making films for 10 years now, my brain just thinks that way anyway. How did they make that? You know, like how are they shooting stuff, like how have they scheduled it. So yeah, I guess like reading that in my early 20s started me making films, and then getting back into kind of found footage the last few years, and reading The Making of Blair Witch as well, 8 Days in the Woods, is a really good play-by-play account of how they made the film, especially from kind of a director's point of view, because they were only drip feeding the actors the information that they needed, and then they were leaving them waypoints to know where to go next. So they wouldn't actually have to have any contact with them, you know. So they like purposely isolated them, and then because they knew where they were going, because they'd sent them, okay, today you need to walk this direction and find this thing on the map. They could then track them through the woods at night, mess with them outside camp, you know what I mean? So a lot of the stuff they were doing was actual, to get the actual performance out of them, was them moving around in the woods at night.
It's like an Orientarian expedition, isn't it?
It kind of was, man. And like I did a lot of that with making my film, like a lot of the stuff that Paul, the guy who played Trapper, was saying. I didn't know what he was going to say or what he was going to do, and he didn't know what I was going to say or how we were going to act, because we both had beats that we were hitting. We needed to hit these things in each scene, but I didn't script it as tightly because of kind of the way they did Blair Witch. It was kind of a set of kind of like a shot list and like story beats they needed to hit for the story to make sense, but then a lot of the stuff was improvised. So I think having that loose approach helps it feel more real as well.
Yeah, I like natural sounding dialogue. It's one of the things that grabs me about a film. I think I was saying I'd said to directing the other week that I like when people stumble over words a little bit and stuff. I don't like this rehearsed, you know, you can tell that they've shot it and shot it. I actually mentioned old episodes of Coronation Street as being a great example, like from the 60s. They would stumble over the words, but it was real, you know, and it felt like you were in the living room with them, and I like that kind of thing. When you spoke, I asked you whether you liked found footage movies, but are you a creature features fan?
Yeah. I think especially when it crosses over with found footage as well, like that's what excites me about it. I think because I really like cryptids anyway. I love paranormal stuff, love unexplained stuff. Like I think Belief Hole podcast is like one of my favorite things that I always listen to, and the Small Town Monsters documentaries and stuff. So like, this always had a crossover for me anyway, like it kind of ties in with horror stuff. But then I guess like also growing up at the time when I did, seeing stuff like even the, you know, the Howling, bigger stuff like the Howling, and like, or indie stuff like the Deadly Spawn, or, you know, just stuff with practical effects that they were doing, you know, with like puppets and like miniatures and things. Like I think because I grew up on that as well, having an actual physical thing there, it was important. Like even though in my film it's a costume that we adapted. Yeah, I'd love to do like a proper creature feature with actual creature design. And the
fascination with, you know, maybe just maybe that might exist. You can feed off that. I mean, when I was a kid, I was always fascinated by, like, I think it was in the 90s, it was like the Beast of Bodmin Moor and things like that. I used to be really hoping there was something out there just for the, like, you know, as a kid, you're lost in fantasy, aren't you? And I think it's almost, you bring it out of the adults when you take it into horror. You're almost taking them back through the years.
Yeah. I love that idea that there is some kind of magic still in the world, you know what I mean? I think that's a reason why I still do filmmaking now, you know. It's like it allows you to get back to like a part of your childhood where you used to just go out and play and imagine things. And like, you know, the writing process is you as a writer walking around imagining shit or thinking about things that you find scary. You know, like the new film I'm writing now, I've written when I walk my dog in the mornings, and it's all the locations are places where I walk my dog. And as I've over the last like 6 months, as I've walked, I've gone, okay, this is really cool. I want to use this. And there's a burnt out building there. What can I do with that? And like places that I see around, it kind of takes the what would be kind of like a boring landscape that you see every day and makes it an interactive thing where you see it as sets and things you can engage with, rather than just, oh, I'm walking the dog, what am I going to do when I get home kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you'd probably take a lot of inspiration from just everyday happenings, I would think, and natural surroundings. It'd be good research. But I was gonna ask, apart from Blair Witch, was there any kind of similar movie you researched before you started this project?
Yeah, there was a few that definitely inspired me wanting to do it. I think seeing Willow Creek was big, just because I really like that film. I think I saw Bobcat on the Movie Crypt podcast and was like, oh, okay, I knew who he was because he was in films back in the day, right? He was in like Police Academy and stuff, I think. And I was like, oh, it's that guy. Okay, cool. And then checking out Willow Creek and really liking the character stuff and really liking how tense the stuff in the tent was in the second half.
Yeah,
that was one of the things that made me go, similar to what you said earlier, like, okay, you don't need a huge amount to make this film. You need woods, which you've got. You need a tent, which you've got. I had all the hiking stuff. So I think that was big. And I think the stuff on the trapper character who kind of leads me in was inspired by the expert in the Lost Coast tapes. If you've seen that, it's like...
Is that the one with the poster where they're on the spike?
Yeah.
A while back when I saw it, but I'm due a rewatch of some of these.
It's good, man. Yeah, it's good, and that's kind of a more kind of capable team with like proper film gear and stuff. But then, they go meet this kind of crazy guy, and I think all that stuff was kind of in my head when I was writing it. Like I knew which bits I wanted to kind of be inspired by from those films. I think also like it was the Rodriguez list of what I have available, from Rebel Without a Crew. Like just make a list of what you have access to and write a film around that. Otherwise you're going to end up not making anything, and like I think one of my life goals was like to make a feature. Like my next life goal is to make a feature that's 90 minutes because I couldn't get it to 90 minutes. It's like just over an hour, right?
I think the timing was great. I think it suited the story.
Yeah, I mean, there was more. I shot enough to make it maybe an hour 20, but I cut a lot of it just because the pace. That was the other thing, is the editing process was really long. It took like a year to edit it because I'd shot it so loose. I had to. I almost had option paralysis when there's so many different ways I could take it that you're trying loads of things and seeing what works best. And I did end up trimming quite a lot out just to get the pace.
So the pacing actually makes a difference to the length of the movie. As you're going along, do you start realising and going, well, this really needs to be capped at this point?
Yeah, you can write scenes. It happened quite a lot. I'd left time for these long kind of exposition scenes with Trapper explaining. So there's the bit in there when he has his first sight, but there was another bit where he's explaining kind of the history. Because being really into Bigfoot as well and reading loads of stuff about it, when I first met Paul, who plays Trapper, I gave him loads of books. We talked about stuff and we talked about how something could survive in this country. There was even to the point where we're in Wales, so it's like an old mining community. There are mines underneath a lot of the mountains and things. So we did talk about how something could possibly hide there and then be able to come out and hunt and stuff. And I think when I'd given all that stuff to Paul, I then said, right, do me how you got into it and how you first found out about Bigfoot and all that stuff. And we also have more mental health stuff in it as well. There was a plot line that I cut about my mental health. And we also did kind of a heart-to-heart where, same thing again, neither of us knew what we were going to say. And he, in character, told me about why he was struggling with stuff. And I told him why I was struggling with stuff, which was actually genuinely why I was struggling with stuff. I didn't even act.
You weren't acting,
No, not. I was just like, fuck. But yeah, I found when I placed the stuff in the film, even though what Paul did as an actor was really good, and he had come up with all this amazing stuff and drawn things from his life, being in biker gangs in London and meeting all these Native Americans and then taking them to this giveaway where they did this ceremony and stuff. And then he just added, they gave him this mini Bigfoot statue, and that was how he first, he just added little bits from the character, but actually was telling real stories. But when I cut them in, they just stopped the pace dead because it's just the two of us sitting by a campfire telling these stories.
Yeah. I suppose you've got them as extras now for
I've got
content.
them on deleted scenes, for the Blu-rays that we're going to put out. So I've kept everything, because it's so good. I really wanted it to live somewhere.
Yeah.
I just had to cut it from the film just to keep the tension ramping,
When it came to, speaking of Paul, when it came to casting, was that easy? I know you don't have many characters in the movie, so I'm presuming this wasn't too long-winded a process.
mostly it's just people I know as well. Like I've been working with the same people for the last however many years. Like I tend to find people who kind of work the way I work, and then use them a lot of the time. So like the way I shoot stuff isn't the way people normally shoot things. I do quite short shoot days. I shoot for maybe 4 or 5 hours because I got ADHD really bad. I'm autistic. I get overwhelmed with too much shit going on. So like, you know, cutting stuff down so I don't have to deal with too many people at once, and like I don't have to be out all day. And also from working on films, like before I was doing this, I was working on other people's films and camera assisting and like doing stuff on features. And they'd always be like 12-hour days, and they'd suck. Everyone would be exhausted. You'd just be kind of lugging yourself around by the end of the day. And I just didn't want to work that way. So once I found people who would work as quick as I was working and have the energy up for those few hours, and be all right with obviously me not having much money to pay people, you know what I mean? And like kind of doing it for, look, you know, this is what I want to make. Hopefully you can get on board with it, and everybody going, well, this is a good project. Let's try and make the best thing that we can. I think that's the main thing. But like the actual casting, my girlfriend who wrote the film with me knew Paul because she's a tattooist. Paul used to tattoo. So when I was like, I need this guy with a cowboy hat, like a Crocodile Dundee,
like a Lemmy, he looked like a Lemmy sort of character. Yeah, that's what I was seeing. When
she showed me Paul, I was just like, oh my god, he's perfect, man. Like, and just from how he looks and the scene he's into and everything, he's into music, he's into tattooing, he's into like underground culture and stuff, I kind of knew we'd get on anyway because it's the same place I come from. So yeah, so I just met Paul, and then we went for it. And like Andrew played the PI, was Paul's friend, who was a really good actor, like been an actor for the last 20 years, but I didn't know him, hadn't met him. And I just said to Paul, like, I need a PI. He needs to like be good at learning lines. He needs to be like kind of adaptable and stuff. And he was like, I'm going for coffee with Andrew tomorrow. I'll tell him who you are, email him. And like, thankfully he was up for it. And like, you know, I hadn't met him before, and he came and he absolutely smashed it. Like, I love the way he delivers lines in it. Again, in the deleted scenes, there's like, he did like this 5-minute phone call home to his wife about why he's not. And he was like, oh, don't worry, I got a pot noodle and a cup of tea. I'm okay. Like, keep a pudding for me. And like, off the top of his head, dude, like, he was so funny. I was like, this guy's amazing. And Sarah, similarly, I'd worked with before. She'd acted in music videos for me, and I shoot music videos in 50 frames and then slow it down so everything plays in slow-mo, partly to get more footage and partly because it's kind of like the way it looks. But obviously there's no sound, and I'd shot this medieval thing, and Sarah was playing the wife of this guy who gets killed, the main character who dies. And she was so good, like getting herself into the head. Like, we left her alone before so she could get herself in the thing, and then like she was almost in tears by the time she walked back to the camera. And then like we shot it, and she must have done like a 3-4 minute take of just this full breakdown over this guy's body. And I was like watching it, I was like, man, I've got to take all the sound off this and trim it to be like 30 seconds, 20 seconds. And I was gutted because I was like, I wish I could just...
Like you're butchering it, isn't it?
This is so good. Like, I wish I could just keep it as it is. So since then I was like, I've got to put in something with sound in. So.
What I will say is, I think certainly with when you look at how eccentric Trapper is in it, I think it also tells a lot. It says a lot about your character, because you are, at the time, you are struggling to a point where you need the work, and you need to you need to sort of put aside how strange this guy may be in order to get through it. So you're looking at any normal person in a normal situation will go, nah, I'll give that a wide berth. But it told a lot about your character that you were willing to go out with this guy into the wilderness.
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes from real life as well, though. Like, there's plenty of situations that I've been in when I don't want to do things, or there's really difficult jobs that I have to do. Like, the one job was like, it was in Snowdonia, which is a really large like mountain range in the middle of Wales. Snowdon's huge, really big mountains, and the job was like staying at the base of Snowdon and then climbing up this path that's quite difficult on the side of the mountain every day with loads of camera gear to shoot for like 2 weeks and then a week off, and like I was so broke that I was like, okay, like, and it ruined me, dude. Like, I've done that. Like, I've been so like struggling so much as a filmmaker to be like, I can't pay rent. what am I going to do? That if somebody hands me something, they go, okay, I'll give you £1,000, but you have to climb a mountain every day. I'll just do it. Because I'm just like, okay. Well,
without thinking,
yeah, like I don't want to go and work in a call center or whatever, so I'll just do it, I guess. And like, yeah, I came from that. It came from like my real life.
When you first sent me this movie, I was like, oh, it's in Wales. This is great. This is different. Because I've been to Wales, if you don't count the FA Cup finals in Cardiff, that doesn't count to me. But I've been to, forgive me if I'm wrong in saying this, is it Penmacno or somewhere like that it's called? It's in where the slate mines are.
Okay, is it like North Wales?
I think so, yeah. And it was just amazing to look at, but you felt so isolated. Yeah. And I just thought, if you could get into the forests in Wales, I'd believe every minute of that. And I think some of the scenes in the day were just as creepy as anything at night.
Yeah, I love, the main thing I love about living here and growing up here is the landscapes and nature and stuff. And like, I really wanted to use real places, have everybody sound Welsh. Like, I didn't want anybody to put on an accent or whatever. Like, there's a tendency in the film scene in Wales to either try and make something American or do this kind of quaint, oh, we're from a small town in the valley. You know what I mean?
Like a parody, isn't it?
Yeah, and like, personally, I don't feel there's enough kind of serious film stuff going on here. And if it is, it's either really large budget, kind of BBC stuff that's really commercial and mainstream, or indie stuff, but it's always slightly jokey and not about Wales as much as it is just like, oh, look how goofy we are in the
like an outsider perspective.
Yeah, which I thought kind of sucked. Like, it's better to just, like, a lot of the things that I'm writing now and I'm planning on making going forward are really Welsh and like on purpose, you know what I mean?
No, that's fine.
I moved away from here as well for a while. Like, I lived in Shropshire in the Midlands for a few years, like, and when I was 30, I came back and like, I missed it so much after not being here for a couple of years. Like, as soon as I came back, I was like, oh man, like, there's so much great stuff here that you just kind of take for granted when you're a kid, I think.
Yeah. Well, no, keep flying the flag. Yeah, honestly, you've got to change the narrative, haven't you? Before we go on to sort of the latter stages of this, I just wondered if you have a particular scene that made the final cut that you think is the best or your favourite personally.
My favourite is the scene where the PI is going back through the footage and realising that they've been stalked the entire time by the creature, which I wholeheartedly ripped off from Lake Mungo with the slow pull-ins on it. I love Lake Mungo.
Yeah, it's I like it too.
I should have said earlier, like, that was a huge one. Actually, the original film was just found footage. There was no other characters. There was no talking heads. There was no doc thing. But once I'd cut like an hour, I was like, okay, I kind of need something to cut away from, because I found I'd made these fake news segments. And when I cut away from those back to the forest, I was like, okay, that works, because as soon as any time I cut back to them, you know, okay, we're in weird, creepy territory, anything could happen. And then watching Lake Mungo again and going, okay, these talking heads is the way I should do it. Like, then I went and shot those interviews and like came up with they were stalked the entire time and did those pull-ins and stuff. So that's probably my favorite bit. But if you've seen Lake Mungo, you know exactly what I'm doing.
Definitely. I can't remember. There was another movie that had a similar structure to it. It was something I can't remember. Was it set in Australia and it was the underground, like subway area or something? I can't remember, but it was a similar structure. But I always think, I've actually reviewed it very recently on Letterboxd, I can't remember, but I like the talking heads because what they do is they're saying, stick with this because we've noticed this and this happens next and this happens next without telling you something's going to happen. You can feel their dread and their anticipation, and I think it keeps it interesting.
Yeah, I mean, with writing it, like those bits I did script properly because I wanted to have those parts that land at the end of scenes when they're like, things were fine until that final night, and you'll go, oh, what happened the final night? And then when we cut to it, you're already kind of anticipating the shit's going to hit the fan, you know. Like that was something I really did try and do, like with the writing, was just try and land the end of those scenes to hang over the top of the footage, just to give you that, oh shit, what's coming next kind of feeling, you know.
Yeah, and it works, and it's not like over the top either. It's very sort of minimalist, but in the I like subtlety, and I think this does it quite well.
Yeah. It's weird because I don't like subtlety that much. Like my favourite films are really OTT. Like all the music I make is really OTT as well. Like most of the shit I do is like really, but somehow when I found this doc style and this way of making films, I got more subtle and reined everything in and was writing these really quite slow things that were creepy. And it's, the thing I'm writing now and I'm shooting at the moment is the same style, the same kind of thing. I think somehow I found this way of making films at my budget level in the way that I make them with this kind of slow, creepy style, but I don't really know where it's come from.
Keep doing it, I would say.
Yeah, man.
Well, now that you've sort of found that style, it looks like you've got a lot of plans going forward. Before I sort of talk about the plans going forward, how is your quest for the Blu-ray going?
We're there, man. Like, we're pretty much there. So we've done an Indiegogo campaign to do basically finishing funds for the film, just because I know it's quite hard to get things out on physical media, like especially like with no budget, first time filmmaker, people don't know you. So I was kind of adamant that I would give away the digital rights if I can license them to someone, but I'd keep the physical rights myself so that I could give people a proper disc with a bunch of extras on, like recorded commentaries. There's like a bloopers thing. There's the extended scenes that I've been talking about. It's nearly there. We're at 850 now. The stretch goal is £1,000. It ends a week today. So that's like the 5th, I think, of August. Yeah, and we're pretty much there for Blu-ray. So I'm going to put in the rest of the money to be able to afford the Blu-rays myself. I'm actually ordering them today, I think. I paid the invoice yesterday. And then, yeah, hopefully they'll be out like kind of middle of August, end of August.
That'd be great. That'd be one for the collectioneer as well. When I move, man. I am dolling up my DVD collection and making it presented so I can actually see it, because at the moment it's all in boxes and things. But
mine too. Mine's in my parents' garage, man. It makes me. I got videos, but I've arranged all my videos because I have like a video shop in this new anthology thing I'm shooting. So I built a video shop in my parents' garage. So that's all arranged really nice. I'm gonna have to take it down when I need to shoot.
It's a prop.
I just want to leave it there and just hang out in it. Do you know what I mean?
So you mentioned an anthology there. Do you want to tell us what your next projects are following Foxhollow?
So, as I mentioned earlier, I've got really crazy ADHD, so I don't tend to do one thing at once. I do like 3 things at once all the time. So at the moment, I'm shooting Wishamwell Road, which is my next feature, and it will be feature length, and it will be similar style to Foxhollow. It's a found footage doc with a bunch of different kind of cameras and things used, and it's an urban legend thing, and it's also a missing person investigative story as well. So I've shot about half hour of that so far. I'm acting in it again, but it's like bigger in scope than Foxhollow with more people, and I expect that'll be out next year. And I'm also doing a VHS shot and video that is a really crazy B-movie kind of splatterfest with a lot of gore and a lot of ridiculousness, and like the one I'm shooting at the moment, I'm like this kind of superhero guy that like he has an allotment and grows stuff, and he loves like gardening, and then this gang like beat him up because they want to grow weed in his allotment, and they kick shit out of him and pour weed killer on him, and then it burns his skin and he transforms into this dark man style vigilante.
It sounds like a Stephen King novel.
It's more like The Burning or something. Like, I'm just killing people with gardening tools for fucking 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
I like The Burning, so I'll be all right with that.
So I think that's probably going to be called Analog Atrocities, and that's going to be out next year as well. I'll probably self-release that on like VHS and stuff myself.
Oh, brilliant. And I like a good VHS. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, still that is still going to be alive in the next 20 years if we've got anything to do with it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So, Tom, thank you for coming down. Lastly, would you like to tell people where they can find you, all the links that we need to know about your projects now, your projects coming up, and of course, Foxhollow?
So you can find me on social media at ritual_video. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on X, I'm not on TikTok because I'm 39 and I don't understand it.
Trust me, I don't understand it. I don't know why I do it.
So at the moment, we're doing an Indiegogo campaign for releasing Foxhollow. So if you see this and you want to see the film, you can pre-order a digital copy or a Blu-ray through the Indiegogo link, which is on my social media. And we're also doing a Welsh screening of the film on Saturday, August the 9th in Spit and Sword Skate Park in Cardiff. So if you are in Wales or fancy travelling down, you want to come to that, you can get tickets from ritualvideo.bigcartel.com.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you, Tom, for coming down and speaking to me today. I really hope that this takes off because, like I said, I've seen it. I really enjoyed it. And if you were into your found footage and you're into that creature feature, mystery, missing person kind of movie, it is absolutely for you. Please support this movie. All the links are going to be down below in the description. Tom's already given them. They will be there. Just go check them out. And all I can say is thank you very much. And I wish you all the best with every project that you've got coming up. I wish you all the success with Foxhollow as well. I hope everybody enjoys it as much as I did. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to support this channel as well, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell down below so you can get updates on anything I bring out in the future, and there's going to be quite a lot of it. So from me and from Tom, take it easy, guys.
Thank you.